destination, nowhere to call home. Do you remember when the walls were closing in? A piece of time we lost so long ago is faded. Holding on to expectation, it's everything you are. It's been so long now and I can't remember you. No, I can't hear your voice or see your point of view. Did you have blue, green eyes? I don't know why you're faded. Have I lost my mind or am I turning jaded? Running.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this Tuesday. I only know it's Tuesday because it's garbage night here in Stony Creek. This Tuesday edition of Haven't Seen It. Now, I'm sure by now you guys are familiar with the show that I'm doing. It just looks slightly more professional. The show is called Haven't Seen It. The idea of the show is I, Eric Johnston, actor, comedian, having not seen a lot of shit. I have pretty much been watching Goodfellas and The Sopranos on repeat my entire life. I've seen a lot of movies, but I haven't seen a lot of movies. And the issue with that is it drives people crazy. People cannot... When I tell people that I haven't seen Star Wars or I haven't seen any of the Harry Potter films or anything like that, they lose their fucking minds. So I thought, well, this would be a great opportunity to turn this into a show, a web series show, something that I would not have done prior COVID-19 coronavirus, but it's something that I'm definitely doing now. Oh, Larry David just slightly fell behind my back. I didn't know what that noise was. And here's the thing. When you're a Canadian production, you tape things to the wall. First of all, I couldn't swing a hammer if I tried. But I taped Larry David to the top of this thing with masking tape, which if you're going to do any kind of home renovations. Oh, he's gone. See, he died on his own. Okay, that's a bad sign for the coronavirus. Larry David is now on the ground. But it's funny because our only guest tonight reminds me of Larry David. But I'll get to that soon. So you guys feel free to comment, share. Please, first of all, make sure that you are sharing this stream. It's so important for me and for anyone who's on the show or anything that I'm doing, especially anything that any comedian is currently doing. It wouldn't be possible unless people were watching, and people will watch if you share and like certain, things that I'm doing, things that we're all doing, really. So this is Haven't Seen It. I'll explain the show again because I got distracted by Larry David falling and almost murdering me behind me. This show is sponsored by Corona. Because of Corona, we're all here today in my office, which used to be a crawl space, which used to be a toy room that I turned into an office. The idea of the show, I haven't seen a lot of stuff. Now, our guest today has seen everything. This man has seen everything. I don't know how he finds the time. He's a very busy man. He's a traveling professional wrestler. He's also an improv artist. Improv guy. He's an improv guy. It's not, I don't know what to call it. They're an improv. I'm a stand-up comedian. He's an improv guy. I teach improv to children, although I don't do improv. He does improv and teaches no one anything. Him and I met on the set of a TV show called Splat-A-Lot many years ago. I replaced his character on the show because he was smart enough to get out of that show and go on to other things, and he needed a replacement. And I was willing to step in fresh out of the Vancouver Film School. We became great friends ever since. I'm actually going to the first thing I'm going to play before I introduce our guest today is our first interaction ever. It was our first day on set together as very best friends, and we've created a relationship ever since then. His name on the show was Gildar. My name on the show was Vane. I'm going to play that first interaction right now.
Did you just call me a salad?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, but you're different. You're hardy.
I'm like a cop.
Like a cop. Like exactly like a cop. You're muscular, handsome, good-looking, tan.
At any rate, Marv,
Sandy.
I came here today to tell you two and all of you watching at home that today will be Gildar's last day defending the castle of Splat-A-Lot.
Gildar, say it ain't so.
If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me?
I will. You know why? Because I learned from you. I can do this. I mean, I got the biceps, good look. I don't have the lunge, but I.
Oh, really, Dwayne? How interesting. Well, you know what? I will be around the course today and let's see how you do. Oh, and by the way, watch your gut.
I can't believe you just did that. I
calls you Dwayne, your name's Fane. Well, there's certainly some tension between these two, and it'll be interesting to see how everything plays out.
What?
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was our first ever interaction on the set of Splat-A-Lot. RJ, I have since gone on since Splat-A-Lot to be a touring professional stand-up comedian. RJ does everything else. He does professional wrestling, and he also has a very popular show on the YouTube and on the internet called RJ Makes Coffee in His Underwear. I think that's the name of the show. Coffee with your underwear Sunday morning. I don't know. It's got. I'm sure he'll tell you all about it. He's been running a weekly show every Sunday morning where he actually makes coffee in his underwear. He's had celebrity guests, and I'd say that this might be his biggest celebrity guest. He actually had the opportunity to have coffee in his underwear with the man, the Texas Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Let's check that out.
Good morning, everyone. Hello. This is not live. This is taped, as you can tell. Because it's a special occasion, I have a lovely guest with me. Please say hello to Mr. Stephen Austin. Hello, Stephen.
I don't like when anybody calls me Stephen. Call me Steve.
Mr. Steve Austin.
Thank you.
Yes.
What are we doing here?
Well, we're supposed to have coffee in our underwear. I'm in mine. I got these fun little polka dot things, and you have... well, you're a bit of a fleece guy. You like to sleep in the camo fleece. That's fine. Yeah. Oh, hey.
Love the polka dots. We're not doing coffee in underwear.
Okay.
That's the bottom line. You can see yourself to the front door.
Thank you.
I'm going to go out this way.
Sounds good.
Don't mess with my beer.
I won't touch your beer.
Goodbye.
Bye, sir.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. There he is, the wonderful Lee Majors from $6 Million Man. See you next week.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was him with Stone Cold Steve Austin. RJ's had a crazy life. He's I was gonna say David Arquette is his best friend, but actually RJ Skinner, RJ City is David Arquette's best friend, if that makes sense. I'm gonna bring him onto the show right now, and if you're watching the show right now, please share this live stream. Our very special guest, please welcome RJ City. RJ Skinner, my very good friend RJ. Here we go. RJ.
Wow. I didn't realize you were on. I was just enjoying a nice warm cup of tea, and I was so wrapped up in your introduction. What are you drinking?
A little Corona.
From a can.
From a can, and I actually dropped the can numerous times. It looks.
Now, do you put the lime in the can like you would?
This is what I do. This is my second one that I'm going to have later.
Okay.
Oh, it's
a green screen lime. That's a fun.
That is a great bit. It is a green line that turns green. It's a wow. If I wore a green T-shirt, you wouldn't even be able to see me right now.
No,
but this is a green line sitting on top of.
Well, you did tell me a while ago that you were interested in incorporating a little bit of magic into your stand-up.
Here's the thing: everyone needs a closer. Okay,
yeah.
You gotta you gotta close big. So I
Yeah.
figured I should do a magic trick or something just to close and now green screen lines are the new thing. I didn't know this service was able to do that. But now we know that if you have anything green on this camera, you will disappear, which is
I have nothing. Well, I have. Speaking of green, I have the
Okay.
wonderful green eyes of Paul Lind behind me
haven't seen it.
from Hollywood Squares. He was the middle square.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. I've come up with a new thing now. This is going to play anytime you say something that I don't know what you're talking
Okay,
about.
so let me hold on. So I'll say the picture of Paul Lind. That's good.
Haven't seen it.
That's fun.
And you know what? I'm going to see it again. I incorporate a little bit of sound effect in it too. Here we go. Watch this. I'm using the top of the line Canadian post and pre-production.
What I think is unfair is that the premise of this show is that you haven't seen things that pretty much everyone has seen.
Mhm.
However, I'm on the other end where I've seen things that really no one has seen that's at least alive anymore.
See, yeah, that's why I thought you'd be an interesting guest because I feel like you've seen everything. That is a good point. I haven't seen anything. You've seen everything,
Right.
but nobody gives a shit.
No.
And I think that's the differentiating factor. So really, you've just wasted your time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm your guest.
I knew if I gave you just a touch of a little bit of sass, I knew I would get it back.
Yeah. Speaking of Larry David, I saw the great tragic fall of Larry David.
Mm-hmm. Which will happen to people that wash their hands. Go ahead.
Have you seen the film that he wrote that he left Seinfeld to write called Sour Grapes?
Yes, I have seen Sour Grapes.
Good. We're getting somewhere.
Is that the one where he's in New York?
That's Whatever Works with Woody Allen.
I've seen that one. I haven't
That's
seen
it. No,
Wait,
Sour
hold on.
Grapes is the one he wrote.
Oh, no, I haven't seen it. Wait.
During
Hold on.
Seinfeld.
Here we go. 1 second. I haven't seen Sour Grapes, although a big Larry David fan, obviously. But he left Seinfeld to write Sour Grapes. How did that do?
Horribly. I think it's a decent film. It's not technically bad. It's just not, you're writing the #1 TV show and then you make like a okay movie.
Mm-hmm.
Starring the wonderful Steven Weber from, have you seen Wings?
I remember it being on in my house in the 90s. I
Good.
remember my father watching it.
Yeah. Good.
And I think that's all.
Okay. Also had Thomas Hayden Church in it. Thomas Hayden Church was in another movie called, have you seen Sideways?
Haven't seen it.
Why are you not hitting the button here? I'm really setting you up here, and you just
I need two hands.
I would not like the bullet.
I am not. I've said on the show before that I'm not a nerd.
But you said this is your own button, man.
Hold on. Say it again.
Have you seen Sideways? Seen it.
Haven't seen it.
Kind of ruins the appeal of the button when you've already.
Well, sometimes I forget that I made a button. Sometimes I'm too good for my own good. I'm too.
Dear Lord.
Too
Speaking of,
bad.
I'll tell you something I have not seen. I have not seen every episode of Splat-A-Lot.
I actually, it's funny when we filmed that show Splat-A-Lot, I didn't realize how important because I had never seen the show. Like I had never seen the first season.
Yes.
And then I got cast in the second season.
Which would perhaps behoove you.
And I remember in the audition, they said, "Are you familiar with the show?" And I said, "Yes, very." And I had never seen the show.
Yeah.
So I never realized how important the positioning was to how much screen time you got.
Yes.
So I knew it if I was extra nice to you that day. Because those who don't know, RJ went from a character on the show to the chief executive comedy writer on the show.
The legal term is creative consultant.
He consulted, and basically he made protein shakes out of coffee and protein powder.
Yeah, and said, yeah, that looks good.
And said, I don't know, throw in a reference and we'll be fine. I never realized how important if you were on the first gun in the first round, you got the most screen time. And I now realize the days that I was the nicest to you, we talked wrestling, or I gave you some wrestling related thing, or maybe I helped you get the coffee for the protein powder.
Yes.
I would get that good position.
Right.
Which is, I think, very important in life, you know, where if we're nice to you, you get a good position.
Everything in life is position. But what you don't understand is that I also had to hedge my bets on the kids that were running the course that day. Because people don't realize if you fall off the first obstacle, they make you swim back and do it again until you successfully complete it. So if a kid sucked, and I'd say 75% of the time they did.
A lot of kids didn't even know why they were there. And they just heard that they may get an iPad if they complete the choice.
Yes.
Of course, but go ahead.
The iPad. I certainly didn't get one.
For sure. I didn't even go on.
You would be stuck in the first position, and the camera would always be on you, and whoever was in the first position would get to do like 10 minutes of material on this kid, and then by the time they hit the second one, you would see the second defender, but by then the kids would be a lot quicker, so you'd have to like squeeze in like a 2-minute set.
Yeah, and my position was in the first round was that second position, which I personally believe I did very well in. Except for the day that James Elmer attacked me with a frozen splat ball, which caused me to have a minor concussion, and everyone was wondering why I was so moody on set that day.
I think it worked for your character, and I think it added a subtext.
He was actually naturally dumb and then got a minor concussion.
The first time we did Splat Lot, we did like a test run, and they never did it before, and they're figuring everything out on the fly. So they're like, just whoever this kid is, like, you just rip him up, like, just go at him. So I'm like, all right, like, I'm here to shit on this kid. This is what I do. And guy comes up, and he looks like a total, like a Thurman Merman. Okay?
Yeah.
Which, have you seen Bad Santa?
No, I haven't seen it. Hold on, let me get my button ready.
You should hit the button before you say
Hold on,
no.
hold on.
There you go.
Okay.
Relevant now. Okay. So, anyway, life jacket, water shoes, helmet. This is a mess. So he does the first obstacle, and the water is also freezing. He climbs up the thing. He's about to go on the second one. He stops, and he just freezes. And I can only see the back of him, and I'm just ripping him up because these are my instructions. I'm destroying this kid for 5 minutes straight. I'm not letting up. He's not responding. He's not looking at me. Finally, he looks at the camera and says, I can't feel my arms. And
I've been there.
Then they have to get the lifeguard in the little boat.
That was my favorite part of the show.
Yeah.
The 14-year-old unpaid lifeguard that legally
community service hours.
That legally could not swim to the children, so they'd have to go in a boat. Yeah. The kid would just be in the wake, hurt. And
Yes.
We should say that no children was ever hurt in the production of the show. Just in that moment, felt like they were hurt.
I think an adult separated their shoulder. The thing, because you had the season when the adults ran.
Yeah, that's right.
And
every parent got hurt.
The issue is that kids are okay with falling. They've accepted, like, they're growing, they're awkward, they'll stumble. This is a part of life. When you're past 35, you don't want to fall. You're like, I shouldn't be falling anymore. So when an adult would be about to slip and fall, they would try to resist it. They wouldn't go with it, and that's when they would get hurt.
Well, kids are resilient, right? And parents, if they fall, it's a whole afternoon of pain.
Yeah.
I just want to first of all bring up this comment here. I don't know if you saw it. Eric, who are you talking to? Looks like he has a shorty long back, aka a mallet. I think she means mullet. Sorry, new to the comedy scene, also spelled wrong. My bad.
Okay, Candace. So yes, first of all, scene is spelled S-C-E-N. Number one. Number two, I have a bit of a samurai ponytail going on here. I didn't want to put everything in. Then I look like, one of those gymnasts, and they're like this.
Yes.
So it's not a mullet, but
it's a little It's a little
bit of a bob.
You know what? Evidently, Candace hasn't seen Splat a lot to know who you are. Hold on. Oh, so silly. Well, thanks for the comment, Candace. Thanks for writing in, first time listener.
Thank you, Candace.
This is RJ City for those who don't know. Please, if you're watching this share, please, or this stream, please share it. on Facebook. It would mean the world to me. And I was talking
I
about
don't know who I am.
my other show. I do another show called Eric Johnston Live, which is very creative title. I said that, I asked people to share this stream, and it means so important, except for the people when you say to them, hey, can you share this? And they're like, bro, I don't share anything. I've never shared. I don't even know how to share any. I have Facebook because I'm part of an adult soccer league. We have a group chat. Yeah. That's why I have Facebook. And I watch, me and my wife, we watch you because we're fans of yours, but I don't share anything.
Yeah. So then all of a sudden, when it's their wife's 33rd surprise birthday party, all of a sudden they know how to organize an event.
Bro, you didn't share? I asked you to share.
She's going to be very upset that you're not there.
Well, going to be Melanie Van Vliet. Melanie Van Vliet. I met her at a Hamilton Pro Wrestling event. It says RJ! Exclamation.
Melody, look, I appreciate your support, but maybe a question to lubricate the conversation here.
Yeah, if anyone has any their favorite, the question to the audience is always, what's your favorite TV show? What's your favorite movie? There's a good chance I haven't seen it. There's a good chance that RJ has.
Yeah.
And that's the whole idea what we're doing here today.
Now, here's perhaps a movie that I think is my favorite that you have seen.
Okay.
The King of Comedy.
I have seen parts of it, yeah.
You haven't seen the whole thing? And by the way, I'm not talking about the Kings of Comedy. I'm not talking about the D.L. Hughley vehicle.
Not that Cedric the Entertainer, Kings of Comedy. No, I haven't seen all of it. I remember watching it as a child and always thinking to myself, no, I should watch this. I'm a comedian. Robert De Niro's my favorite actor. Martin Scorsese. That whole world I live in.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it. Hold on.
Just watch Goodfellas.
Here we go.
There's another question.
I was a little quicker on that one.
Much better. Have you seen? You know who else is in the King of Comedy? And you should watch it and tell me where he is because it's a very weird Waldo. The guy who plays Maury in Goodfellas, Maury's wigs.
Maury's wigs don't come off.
Now that guy was at the time Robert De Niro's landlord.
Oh,
and that's how he's in those movies because you really don't find him anywhere else.
No, he's what's his name? Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck. Chuck.
He is in only that. He's in The Sopranos. It's a very short.
He is
as the Jewish landlord in The Sopranos. Look at that.
What a stretch! What a range!
I've run into Joseph D'Onofrio recently.
Yes,
Joseph D'Onofrio, young Tommy.
Yeah,
in Goodfellas, and he's also in A Bronx Tale.
Yeah,
he's doing comedy now.
Oh, really?
And it's good.
He's an actor.
Let me tell you something. He's an excellent actor.
Now, we have a small fascination on Instagram with a famous mob movie actor.
Yes. Tell everyone.
The wonderful Frank Sivero.
Yes. Frank Sivero. Yeah.
Who was Frankie Carbone in Goodfellas.
They had to thaw him out.
Yeah, and he's also the brother-in-law in The Wedding Singer.
Yes.
And he's also Django in The Godfather Part 2.
Yes. And he will tell you about all those roles on his Instagram page.
Yes, every post he makes.
Everybody, it's Frank Sivero or Sivero Frank. That's my favorite.
Sivero Frank. He changed his name. I think he got hacked or something.
So we had to go with the reverse.
There was quite an issue. Have you seen A Bronx Tale?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
So when we're in my wheelhouse, when you're in my mafia wheelhouse, there's a good chance I have seen it.
Yes.
So I won't need to find the button.
Now, I've seen the revival of the one-man show, A Bronx Tale, starring Chaz Palminteri.
You saw the actual show live?
Yeah.
No, you did not.
I did. He did the revival. I don't know. It must have been 10 years ago at least.
But no, he's doing it again. Oh, but he's not in it. He's only the producer of it.
He turned it into a musical now.
Yes, that I knew.
Yeah,
that I knew.
This was the one-man show where it's like, the Bronx, like that kind of thing.
So here I am in the Bronx, and let me tell you a tale. Is that how it starts? Because that's how I'm picturing it.
Yeah. Me? What's my story?
Yeah, well, I guess you got to go back to the start.
Mama, stop yelling at me. Go to your father. Like that kind of thing. It's really good. All the different characters.
Well, they. I love. I. You know what? I think the only person. No, I can't picture anyone who would be good at a one-man show or one-woman show. You know what I mean?
You know who has
you maybe
2 decent one-man shows?
Go ahead.
John Leguizamo.
Yes, I've seen them on HBO. I mean, I haven't seen it.
They're
I haven't
amazing.
seen them. I've seen them.
You've
Seen the shows.
Yes.
I know they exist,
yes.
but I haven't
you
seen
looked,
them.
You looked at them.
They know they're there.
Yeah.
I know that they've happened. I know they were filmed. I just haven't seen them. Oh,
But
also,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you know what? Let's have a Canadian standoff.
Okay.
I feel like your thought's going to be better than mine, so I'll let you go, and then I'll bomb after.
I was just going to say, you know how good a one-man show is by how sweaty the guy is at the end.
I like how many water bottles are on the table, the old Robin Williams.
Yes.
And the partial.
What is this, a British flavor?
Oh.
Yes.
Have you seen It Come Inside My Mind, the Robin Williams documentary?
No.
Oh,
Have you seen
Hold on.
Okay.
I have, but this one's for RJ.
I'll own
Your
that one.
face.
That's fine. And my loose bow tie that I always wear.
You know what? It's funny because in the promo piece I made today, we're doing the same.
Yeah, I'm a shrug guy.
A shrug.
Don't we have pictures that we've taken together?
Yeah, there's a bunch of pictures that we've taken together. You look arguably better. Because
I'm doing my one pose.
And so you're getting over as both an entertainer as a wrestler when your friends' children are doing your pose.
Yes,
that's huge.
Yeah, it's just good branding.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say we took pictures together, promo pictures together on when I was on your talk show.
You're on my talk show again, but this one is actually better produced.
Right. And I also want to point out that when I was on your show, then I had the wherewithal to understand copyright music issues.
Yes,
and I sang a song on your show that was published before 1927, so it was public domain.
Are you going to do that tonight is my question.
I don't have the band with me.
Well, I could call the band. I've since run into the band at the bar.
They had a nice time.
Terry Morgan, professional wrestler from Hamilton, friend of my father's. Seeing WWE has made an essential service is the wrestling in Hamilton going to try for the same?
Terry,
I think that's a question for you.
Terry, not only is pro wrestling non-essential, Hamilton is barely essential. Okay, they'll just be like, you know what? Let's just absorb it into Stony Creek. We'll call the whole thing the Greater Oakville area and be done.
Sometimes you can't not heal out when it comes to city names, huh?
No, especially there. Dear Lord, I've had some fun in Hamilton.
I think you've killed it. Every Legion in Hamilton and the Germania Hall.
There's no shortage of obscure ethnicities and their clubs.
And you know what? Every single time that you've wrestled in Hamilton, I unfortunately haven't seen it.
Now, you did kind of ring announce. You hosted a show once. It wasn't in Hamilton, though.
I've done some color and some MC work for Squared Circle and for a couple other promotions that I've since. I don't know where they are. I don't think they know. I was told by some wrestlers and referees that they complained because I'm too big. I make the wrestlers look small.
It's a common thing. Yeah.
I'm like 6'1", 230 on a good day, and after the quarantine, I'll be 243.
But in the wrestling world, that's like 6'5" and 3.
Exactly right. That's why Harry D gets over so well as a referee because he's 5'2.5". Harry D, the referee, another friend of my father's. Terry says that we can do it. We can make wrestling essential service, and I think we could. If RJ, if you want to come over for a barbecue, we
can chain around in the backyard.
We'll hug.
Terry, some of the indie shows I've done in Hamilton, you could run again because literally no one was there. And do you ever hear of a club called Boomers?
No, but it sounds fantastic.
It was on the upper floor of some building, and when I say the upper floor, I mean the upper floor and like the corner of the building.
I think I've done a comedy show there. Go on.
Okay, second floor. Yet it was a low floor ring, and one wall was entirely mirrors, which is very distracting when you're wrestling because you always think someone's behind you.
I think that's a good way to make it feel like you're in a battle royale or a I forgot the wrestling term.
The front row was a couch. They were 3 people sitting on a couch.
Oh, that's nice. I've done that show. I think. Who books that? I think
That's an immersive experience.
Elliot Francis, known as Thorne on the TV show Splatterlot, is watching along from England, and he said, "Even I've seen RJ wrestle. Sending love for across the pond. We love you, dude, Elliot." And RJ, thoughts on Elliot? I know
Elliot, send my love to your mother and your sister, and keep some for yourself. Elliot is a tremendously serious actor. He could keep a very straight face, as I'm sure he's doing right now, and I would make him say the worst, most ridiculous line.
My favorite thing when we shot the TV show Splatterlot is because I had an earpiece in too, and I used to hear what you were telling Elliot to say. The show was mostly improv. The actors came up with what they had to say, but sometimes there were certain themes or certain references that we had to get over, we had to get across, and that was RJ's job, where he would say it into our earpieces. And I remember being on set, and there's kids just falling from great heights and getting covered in goo and slime and water and all kinds of stuff, and I would just hear through my earpiece, "What? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, RJ. What? I'm not saying that, RJ." First of all, because half the stuff, I don't think he knew what you were talking about. Again, from your have seen everything point of reference. But also just because it was so ridiculous that he thought he was going to look like an idiot. But because he performed, the hoof, mum, the hoof. Such a straight face in his British accent, it made for perfect comedy. I was always so jealous of the lines that were fed to Elliot.
Yeah, my job was like, let's see what I can get away with. And one episode, it was like, I'm just going to make him say quotes from song lyrics by Sly and the Family Stone. No reason, not relevant to anything, especially on Nickelodeon or YTV or BBC. I don't think Sly has a big contingency in Europe.
I don't know how well the Motown scene got over. But it definitely did. Karina says, "Hi there." Hi, Karina. Karina's a big fan of the show, of all my shows. She watches along. Karina, make sure you share this onto your page. I'd really appreciate it. She
Karina,
said,
don't just say hello.
She said laugh my ass off too, so she's double dipping.
Question. Assert yourself.
Terry says that we can do it in front of his barbershop. Terry owns a barbershop in the west end of Hamilton, and it's very successful. And actually, I got to bring him a Bullwhip t-shirt to put on the wall. Yeah. Karina says, "How long have you been wrestling for, DJ?"
Okay, well, when DJ enters the room, we'll ask him.
She corrected herself and said RJ. But DJ and RJ can both take a stab at this answer. I actually don't know your wrestling story. Go ahead.
Well, I was trained in the Catskills by Jerry Lewis. And there's 2 reasons my cardio is so good. One, it's because it's in the mountains and the altitude is so bad, so high. And number 2, when he trained me, he always had a cigarette. So the second smoke prepares you for the rigors of the ring. And after that, I toured the Borscht Belt, the vaudeville circuit, that kind of thing. And then I found my way. And it's been fun.
Not even Karina, who doesn't know you, believes you.
Thanks, Jay loves you too, Karina.
It's a shtick. He's a mensch. He's RJ City, RJ Skinner. You don't know his religious background. You don't know his ethnicity. You don't know his sexuality. It's all a bit.
Yeah.
And
ever fluid. In that Bob Dylan way.
Yes. But even he has a kid.
He has a kid?
Yeah, he's a kid, and he was in a documentary called Echoes of the Canyon or Through the Canyon.
Have you seen the Martin Scorsese directed Bob Dylan documentary?
What's it called?
Rolling Thunder Review.
I've not seen it.
There we go. Back in business with the button.
You know what? I'm quicker to it now because I know where it is. Before I used to have to scroll. I did recently watch Once They Were Brothers or Once We Were Brothers, the documentary on the band, which is very popular right now.
Yes.
Excellent. Executive produced by Marty.
Oh, yeah. What does he do now, though?
He just throws his name, and you see those TV shows like, we'll give you an EP credit. Let's give you an EP credit. That's what he does now. He just throws money because they want to make money because it says executive produced by Martin Scorsese.
Of course.
And then you've got something.
You've seen The Irishman?
Yes, all
It's not
17 hours
it's
of
not
it.
that good. It's not that good.
Yeah.
It's not that good. It's not worth the length. First of all, that's for sure.
Not that good.
It's not that good.
When I was of the school of it's the best movie ever, and that's what we're going to say about it. And when people ask, you tell them it's the best movie ever out of respect, because this is probably all of their last movies together. One of Marty's last, definitely one of Robert's last. But I'll tell you where I lost the movie, and I said this recently on a podcast, but I'll say it again because it's my own goddamn show. And I don't care if there's a spoiler. It's not much of a spoiler alert.
It's been about a year.
If you haven't watched it, start it now, and then you'll be finished by Friday. The part where the shopkeeper gives his daughter a hard time, and then he goes back to the convenience store and pulls the man out onto the street and beats the fuck out of him. I lost the movie right there because Robert De Niro's 80-year-old body, 90-year-old body, I'm not sure, cannot deliver the beating that he gave to Billy Bats, say, in
the old Stomperoo.
You can't see my feet, but just by what I'm doing with my arms, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. That is an iconic beating. What he did in The Irishman was more like an Ultramatic electric adjustable bed commercial, where he was very slow and he was like, "This Marty Scorsese, this anti-aging thing has changed my life," and it was kind of like that. I didn't have a beef with the anti-aging technology. Yeah, it didn't look great, but they're 80 years old. Okay,
but it's such a gimmick. Send me your design guy. I want to shake his hand.
Yeah,
he's doing the work here.
Yeah, they didn't really have to do anything.
My favorite thing, somebody said to me, "Wow, Al Pacino and Robert De Niro haven't worked together since Heat." And I was like, "Yeah, but Heat was fucking shit too." What do you want from me?
Wait, hold on, Heat?
Wow.
No, you know what? I've seen parts of it. I remember my dad enjoying it. I remember him saying my dad used to say the line from it about like smoking crack in front of a cop from 20 feet away. Now that's heat, or whatever the line is.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Your father, of course, being a wrestler, the term heat.
See, yeah, heat is huge. Heat is important in my life. Heat is important in your life. I spent the first couple years of my comedy career seeking heat because I thought it would get me over quicker than being a good guy. Yeah. And then I went, if I'm nice to everyone, they'll put me on their show. It's not if I never try to fight anyone, but if I was a jerk.
Have you seen, while we're getting into my movies, have you seen Carlito's Way?
Haven't seen
that's the Al Pacino movie that should be as beloved as Scarface, because Scarface is horrible.
Yes, Scarface is it's one of those things. The other day, I took a shot, watched The Big Lebowski.
Ooh,
wasn't that impressed?
You know, the issue is, it's not that it's a bad movie; it's that people rave about it too much.
That's the problem. So it was on such a high pedestal, either way, that when I watched it, I was like, this has got to be one of the best movies ever. Personally, I thought they swore too much.
Yeah.
It was fucking this and fucking that and fucking this and fucking that. Now, I swear I'm a Canadian, but that was one check off my no-no list. Yeah. Two, I don't like movies where I'm the detective. I came here to relax, okay? I came to my mother's living room to relax. And I don't want to be constantly solving who's got the money, who's the murderer, who's the bad guy. Just tell me what's happening and I'll come along on the journey. But I don't need to be working here. I'm not being paid to figure out your movie.
My other gripe is the open ending, like with have you seen Inception? Very good.
That was slower to get to because my mouse was further away from you than I thought.
That's fine. That's a movie where in the end you don't know if he's in real life or if he's in a dream.
That would bother me.
And I remember somebody said to me, well, the ending is whatever you want it to be. And it's like, well, then you give me the fucking $12 million and I'll finish the movie. Like, you're not doing
the SAG writer's credit, please. But I say that, first of all, I have two things to say. One, I will never watch Inception. Someone described the plot of Inception to me, and I almost had a panic attack thinking about dreams, reality, existentialism. Also, someone said something, one of the scenes to me, one of the opening scenes, I can't sleep on airplanes. I have a hard time sleeping on airplanes because apparently if something happens, he falls asleep on an airplane, he's in a whole new world and not in the Disney way. And it was upsetting to me that now I'm in an airport, I'm like this with my thoughts and my fucking solitaire.
And you haven't even seen the movie.
And also Shutter Island. The plot of that gave me, someone describing the plot of that gave to me anxiety.
But you haven't.
Hold on.
Shutter Island.
Thanks for the setup. I haven't seen it.
Another open-ended DiCaprio movie.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Now I'm sounding a little what's
with this DiCaprio kid?
No, I love Leo. I think he's a star. I think that kid's got it. But what's the word? I'm hypocritical. Hypocritical, not hypocritical. That'd be that's what we're doing.
Are you becoming a doctor?
Yes, I'm a house hippo. I will be at the end of this quarantine. What's the word you said? Hypocritical.
Hypocritical.
Because my favorite show of all time, the show I've seen seen it more than any other show in the world, is The Sopranos.
Yes.
Now, The Sopranos at first seemingly is an open end where you don't know what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But when you watch it 13 times through 86 hours worth times 13, you realize that it's all there, but you just have to be smart enough to realize what happened.
Which is what exactly?
Tony is dead. He was killed.
When?
Someone comes out of the bathroom and shoots him in the side of the head at Holstein's.
Oh, right.
There's a gun in the bathroom, whatever. The members only check, whatever. But the very important lines of The Sopranos are that earlier in the season, he says, you'll never see it when you don't even know what happens when it happens.
Yeah.
And something about it will just all cut to black.
Yeah.
Talking about death. There's hints throughout the final season and earlier seasons when you went, it cuts to black because someone shot him and he doesn't realize what happened.
Right.
And he died.
Right.
Hopefully that's not what death is like, but
why not? It's not just going to be a whole thing.
the light and the dramatics.
Can you imagine if it turns out to be a thing and you're like, there's more?
Oh God, you have to be like, how long is eternity really?
You're going to be like, so wait a minute, this whole thing I lived was like kind of basically nothing?
That's how I feel about this show. There's been a couple comments since we started talking.
Let's talk to the
Elliot
people.
from England, which has got to be, oh my God, it's got to be 5 a.m. in England.
Yeah, well, that's when he gets up
to do push-ups.
And have raw eggs. So wait, let me read this comment like Elliot.
Okay, go ahead.
I like that The Departed makes so many references to Scarface.
I like that, but I'm going to try.
Okay.
I like I'm going to add some words. I quite like that The Departed makes so many bloody references to Scarface. I made him a little Cockney. I put him a little north. Okay.
Yeah.
I made him a little works on the yardie.
Yes. Yeah, The Departed makes references to Scarface, but it's not the Scarface, and that The Departed isn't a flaming piece of shit.
I watched The Departed with my mom the other day, just because we needed to kill 4 hours because we lived together. And she went, I don't get it. And that's all. That was their review. So who's who? Who's the bad guy? I went, they're all bad, Mom. The idea is that you can't be a rat. Oh, my computer's doing an Adobe automatic update right now. Probably
now?
Here's a good question, which everyone's asking. What are your? I don't know. I need to know your thoughts if you have or have not seen it. But what are your thoughts about Tiger King?
If you've ever driven, Candace, if you've ever driven through Middle America, you know that it's not a very unique or surprising story. These people exist. They're very weird. There's a lot of things on the side of the road. This is what happens when you don't live in a city or in a suburb outside a city. When you're in true rural America, and I assume in some parts of Canada, although Canada is just a lot less eccentric.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Canadian dream, I believe, is a little more mellow.
It's a little more maple syrupy, but yeah, and less racist.
Yes.
Although I've been to Alberta. But I like the fake sip of the tea because the tea's clearly been done for 10.
I have so little left. I'll show you. I keep you guys in. I have a little left, and I'm just
you
putting
do
my
a breath exhale, and I can hear it in the tea mug. You've got no tea left.
There's still a little.
I think why Tiger King makes sense is because everyone makes fun of America. You know, that's before the border shut down, and I should probably just rip up my U.S. work permit at this point because I don't think I'm going back for a long time.
No.
I was driving through, I was doing a show I did Sarasota, Florida, and then I was driving to Atlanta, and I stopped, I believe, in Jacksonville, which is North Florida, and I held a door open for a gentleman at the gas station. He was about 4 or 5 strides away from me, and I held the door for him to go into the gas station, and as he approached the door, he took the door and said, "What are you, gay?" Now, where being polite is a problem and considered homosexual, I could see why people are feeding people to tigers, is all I'm saying. Right. So those are my thoughts on and Candace has been to NASCAR and it freaked her out, LOL.
Ooh, yes, there's a couple Tiger Kings at NASCAR.
There's a lot of types of kings at
because wanting a fast, loud car is just 1 degree below wanting a tiger.
Okay.
You know? What is it? Like you want a fast car that's really loud.
Oh, yeah, fast car, yes. Yeah,
like, once you have that and you're used to that and the novelty wears off, you're like, maybe I should get a tiger. That's why you see a lot of like tigers airbrushed on trucks and things.
You know what? Here's the thing. You can become an excellent driver, but even if you're the best tiger handler in the world, you still may get your face ripped off.
Well, Siegfried and Roy, who is better than them?
Well, then what happened?
Yeah.
They became tiger meat. Shutter Island dough, yeah, dad fucked, yeah.
Listen, Mr. Fork, I enjoy your analysis. I think you've done a great job summarizing what the film is plot-wise and how it affects you as a viewer. And I'm interested if you perhaps have a Rotten Tomatoes profile to send it along, and then I can read more of your film review.
Shutter Island dough, yeah, fucked up, yeah. I couldn't even. It's like a limerick. It's like a backwards riddle.
Yeah, it's. I like it.
In Nolan's defense, I know he smokes a lot of weed, so I think. So I mean, if anything is a review, really. When you smoke that much weed, you can review anything.
Yeah. Nolan, what is the best pun that you've said using your last name? Please respond promptly.
He said, "I gotta make one for you guys." I don't know if he's talking about joints or
no.
Movies.
I'm not interested in smoking. But if he does want to review this program, and I'll light one for you. Well, you light one, contribute. I'm raising my glass to you, Mr. Nolan,
from teas and Coronas.
For your reviews and prompt comments.
Before we go into the final segment of the show, which there is no segment, I'd like to do about an hour and about 50 minutes now. So let's do another 10.
Are we taking an ad break? Do we have to go for some messages?
Hold on, I got one here. It just says this. It just basically tells people to follow me on Instagram.
That was fantastic.
And everyone who's watching this, please share the stream. For every person who shares it, we're unlocking mine and RJ's talents to hundreds, if not thousands, of people on your.
The weirdest people will watch a live stream.
And people will watch it all the way through.
You know who also watches my program?
What's that? What program?
Coffee. RJ makes coffee in his underwear.
Yes.
Sundays at 9:30 a.m. on my YouTube. A consistent viewer is one Lanny Poffo.
Oh, I love Lanny, the genius. He hit on my ex-girlfriend right in front of me, and he
hit on my ex-boyfriend.
Wow.
No, he's a strange but nice fella. Will literally come up to you and start doing a poem.
No, that's how he got my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And if I would have known months later, that's the secret. She ended up dating a professional video gamer 3 days after we broke up.
Wow.
So put it this way, she's into the arts. And Lanny came in with a poem and swept her off her feet, which is hard to do. And he was distracting her while I went and spoke to Tara Reid of American Pie fame. If you haven't figured it out, I was emceeing a Comic-Con, and Lanny was there.
Speaking of odd celebrity encounters, do you remember the one time we did a stand-up show together?
Yes.
Do you remember who was there?
And, Dreamweaver was there.
Have you seen any of her films? Have you seen Wayne's World 2?
Yes. What's her name again? Tia Carrera.
Yes.
I forgot that you were there that night. What a night for you, huh?
I was there. I was in town filming Murdoch Mysteries.
And I got you on at the Yuck Yucks.
Yes.
And
you played ukulele for everyone.
She did, and it was my girlfriend's ukulele.
Yes, she was in town doing a ukulele concert.
And didn't have one on her.
Yes.
And Adam Beach was also in the audience that night.
Yes.
Adam Beach of native Canadian fame.
Yeah.
He was there. Tia Carrera was there. Now, I swear to God on everything, I don't have a Bible in here because a priest told me I was going to hell in grade 7 and I abandoned Catholicism. But I swear on all things sacred that Tia Carrera was hitting on me.
Yeah.
I swear on everything. And now I'm not delusional. Although I'm wearing my John Candy and Brewster's Millions shirt right now.
Yes.
I am not completely delusional. I can tell. As a man, it's my job to do the hitting on. Right. But you can tell when someone's laying it down on you. Right. And Tia Carrera was, I mean, it didn't hurt that on stage I was talking about how I've always had a crush on her. And I got one of my first boners to Wayne's World and stuff, which I don't really like to say. I'm more of a clean comic now.
You had no problem adding an extra 5 minutes to your set.
Yeah, I was going right over. I think they cut the mic on me that night.
No, wait a minute. They turned the music on.
Oh no, they turned her music on. Her Tia Carrera solo. Yeah. The sound man and I had a beef at the time, so that was one of two things. But anyways, so I went over because I was trying to hit on Tia Carrera. But then after the show, I wasn't expecting her to come up to me, and she was like, "So, first crush, first boner." I was like, "Whoa, okay, Tia." And so her and I were shooting the shit, so to speak. And then my girlfriend walked up, and she's like, "Hi, I'm Eric's girlfriend," and they look similar.
Yeah,
Tia Carrera is white, and the girl I was dating was half Japanese, so they had kind of the same
vibe. I just use the word vibe.
No, through here, I would say the same cheekbones.
The word you're looking for is oeuvre.
But yeah. So, anyways, she was hitting on me. My girlfriend came up, and then we went home. And then I ran into Tia in Los Angeles. I was at a taping for the goddamn Comedy Jam, Comedy Central. And she was one of the guests on the show. And I said hi to her again. What's that?
Doing her old ukulele routine?
No, she was doing the got him on a bat. What's a Monster Bash? Monster Bash? Freaking from Wayne's World.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Put it this way, I'll never be on The Masked Singer.
Yes.
But she was there, and I introduced myself, and I reminded her of that evening, and she had zero recollection of it.
Good stuff.
So it wasn't the most meaningful of interaction.
No, well, for you it was until you found out that it meant nothing to her.
No, it was definitely tattooed in my brain and quickly forgotten. She didn't even know what city Hamilton was.
Did you say to her, do you remember me, first boner?
No, I didn't open that way. Elliot says that we should come to England, document your adventures. People would love you. Yes, with a thumbs up.
Not only would I love to go to England and see him, but I would also love to see Dick and Dom.
Yes, Dick and Dom, the most tea I've ever seen drank in real life.
Yeah, fun.
When we did those vignettes for the CBBC, they flew in Dick and Dom to Toronto, and RJ and I and Elliot and whoever else was there. No, Elliot wasn't there. It was just the Canadian act, so it was just Fatale and I, and you were there.
Yes.
and we spent the day on set doing these little side vignette things for the show. And I am not exaggerating when I say they must have had 20 cups of tea each.
It was very stereotypical.
Like, it was a very stereotypical English night.
Yeah.
RJ says hold on. It's 3 a.m. here, but I'm enjoying the content.
Elliot, you need to go to bed.
Yeah,
You have stuff to do in the morning.
if you both had to choose a Liam Neeson,
Leslie.
which would be your favorite? Liam Neeson. Is that the guy from the not The Departed, the one where his wife gets or his daughter gets stolen?
Taken. Have you seen Taken?
If I would have said Taken, I would have figured it out, but I said Stolen instead.
Stolen. The movie's name is Stolen. Pick. What's your favorite Leslie Nielsen movie then?
Was that the guy from Naked Gun?
Yes.
Haven't seen it.
I'm gonna say my favorite Leslie Nielsen film
Go
is
ahead.
one called The Reluctant Astronaut, starring Don Knotts. And it's so old that Leslie Nielsen has fucking black hair in it. That's how old the movie is. And he's a straight man, and he's a handsome actor.
I think he had a quick short run in Murder, She Wrote. He had a little
Yes.
run there.
He was a serious actor. He had a mustache.
Yeah.
But, you know, what are you going to do?
Glenna says, "Sup, dudes."
Thanks, Glenna. A lot of this, pretty much for the rest of our lives, the way this is going.
Nolan has back after smoking a joint and said, "The Masked Singer with you, Eric, would be hilarious today." They dress you up like a walrus or something, LOL.
Goo 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 choo, huh, Mr. Ford?
No gin tonight, Corona. Yes, the show is now sponsored by the coronavirus because I can't leave my house, so I have to be funny in other ways. Candace has now chimed in and said, "Taken."
Thank you, Candace.
Thank you. He was great. Who was great?
Who was great? Leslie Nielsen was great in Taken.
I like. It's a different film. It's an Art Deco. It's an art piece. Okay, let's see. We scroll through. Is there anywhere? Oh, this is an interesting question that I'm sure you're gonna have a great time with. RJ, is it? LOL. Who's your favorite wrestler? Who's your favorite wrestler?
Fun question.
Go ahead.
Well, I would have to go living or dead. So dead would perhaps be, as you know, Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of his, and also Randy Savage.
Okay.
Would be my top two, and one of my favorites. And I've been lucky enough to open for him, and I think you opened for him too. Mick Foley.
Mick Foley. I was gonna say because you did two dead. I thought you were gonna do a dead and a living, but then you did two dead. So I was waiting for more.
That guy popped into my head. All my friends are gone.
All my friends are dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mick was definitely one of my favorites. I was a big Razor Ramon guy, especially in the Resurrection of the Snake, Jake the Snake Roberts documentary. He's fantastic in that. He's turned it around. But yes, I've opened for Mick. I've opened for Jake the Snake. I've opened for Ted DiBiase. As the MC opener, I kind of get in as a comedian, as the son of a wrestler. Loved Nielsen in the Police Academy.
Yes. Are you? Oh, I thought it was Debbie Reynolds, and I got excited. Debbie Reynolds is dead. The mother of Carrie Fisher.
Love the Savage. Elliot with another question. Have you seen Dracula Dead and Loving It?
Yes, and also in Dracula Dead and Loving It is Steven Weber, who stars in Wings and the Larry David film Sour Grapes.
Look at that rounding.
At 59 minutes.
Wow, do you know what I said? I have to say about all of those?
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. Hold on. You know what?
You just joined.
Set me up again.
And you know who else was in Dracula Dead and Loving It? Steven Weber, who was also in Wings and the Larry David film Sour Grapes.
You know what I have to say about all those movies?
Yes. I'm sorry. You'll edit this into something?
No, I think you'll take some pieces and you'll put it on your Instagram and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Before we go, I want to see if there's any last questions or people saying things. Oh my God, The Rock and then Macho Man. Ooh, yeah.
And Randy Savage was also in. Have you seen the original Spider-Man film with Tobey Maguire?
The only Marvel film I've seen in my life.
There we go. It's a good one.
One of them. I don't play with superheroes. I'm an adult. Rey Mysterio 619 in that Royal Rumble win.
Yes.
Younger Alive version.
Of Debbie Reynolds.
Of Debbie Reynolds. Okay. Yes. I thought that was a movie.
She's doing her own callback. I appreciate that.
Texas Tornado Papa Shango.
Ooh, these are fine choices.
Yes. I saw Andre the Giant fight King Kong Bundy when I was a kid.
Wow. And Andre the Giant was in. Have you seen The Princess Bride?
No, I haven't seen it.
Wow.
Your favorite movie, arguably a lot of people's favorite movies, but that's what I really need to watch.
King Kong Bundy was also in. Have you ever seen Married with Children?
The TV show?
Yes.
No.
Wow.
They're
all Bundys.
He said Bone Crusher, but I think what he means is
Bone
Saw. Yeah. Bone Saw is ready.
I think you mean Fork Crusher.
You haven't seen a lot, apparently. That's the idea of the show. My God.
He doesn't get out of the house.
Do you watch anything, Eric? No, I haven't.
His own sets. He tapes his own sets and he reviews them.
Coco Beware, wrestler with his own bird. Yes, we all remember Coco.
Coco, and I've cut his hair.
You cut Coco Beware's hair?
Yeah, I was supposed to wrestle him, so I'm very nervous. And he comes up to me and he hands me an electrical razor. And he's like, "Do you mind shaving my head?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "I didn't have time to do it." Within 5 minutes, he was standing over a garbage can, and I was shaving his head.
Oh God, what a weird world that you live. What are some of those famous wrestlers that you've worked with? I know you've worked with Brett, and I know
you've seen Roddy Piper.
Yes, you were. Roddy was kind of your mentor, if I recall.
Yes, we did a film together, and we did a pilot together, and we spent a lot of time in the sauna together talking about life.
I know that. I know you were the first person I thought of when Roddy Piper died. Not to bring the show down towards the end, but that's what I like to do.
Sweet fella.
Anyone else? I know. Like I said, I know you've worked with Brett at that show that he was there for 20 minutes and then he left.
Tony nominated Mario Cantone.
Yes, he's not a wrestler, but that works. No, I'm sure he's wrestled a few things in his life.
He's a spitfire, though. Down in 2 seconds.
Now, you have your episode of RJ Makes Coffee in His Underwear with Mario Cantone is available on your YouTube.
Yes, as are they all.
As they are. Now, your YouTube channel is just RJ City? Put in RJ City.
No, well, you really, realistically, what you should do is just Google RJ City, and a bunch of weird things will come up, and you can pick and choose and create your own smorgasbord of what I have to offer.
and it's probably got a lot of gefilte fish in it. Yes. Nolan, before we go, wants to apologize. Say, my bad, boys. Too much wheat.
Too much weed. Sometimes you can have too much weed, and then sometimes you can have too much weed. And I've been there before.
It's over.
Listen, Mr. Fork, it happens to everybody. I want you to absolve yourself. Don't harbor any resentment towards yourself. Just let it go. It's fine, and we'll get it again.
He's a hell of a guy. He's come to probably 50 of my comedy shows and laughed really hard. Elliot, before he goes, he said, "Good night, chaps. The real question is, do you guys respect wood?" Which is obviously a Larry David Curb Your Enthusiasm reference. Now, I don't know when you tuned into the show, Elliot, but I dropped my Larry David painting earlier. So what a good
callback, though, Elliot.
What a good call to the three of us.
Yeah.
Candace says, thanks for this. She learned a lot. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Could have used a haircut, RJ. I actually have a very quick story about Hacksaw. There's a picture of Hacksaw and I. You know what? I'll see if I can bring it up. Do you have a Hacksaw story?
I do. The last show I was on with him, and it is on my YouTube channel. I saved him. I ran the other guy out of the ring, and then I sang to him the theme from the Golden Girls.
Oh, you know what? I have seen that. That is one thing I have seen. Let me see if I can bring this up, and I'll bring up this picture for reference, and we'll call it a night. Hacksaw.
Wonderful man. Big hands.
I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. I'll put it full screen. This is the picture before and after. So that's a picture of my sister and I. In 1994, 1995, I believe, my dad was inducted into the Legends of the Fall at the Buffalo Auditorium, the Wrestling Hall of Fame put on in Buffalo. And it was a WCW house show. And what they did is they did a house show, and Hacksaw was on, Macho Man was on, Lex Luger was on, a young band by the name of The Giant, which you guys now know as The Big Show. He was also on the show. They did a WCW house show in Buffalo. And then at the end of the house show, they went dark. Well, they're already dark. It's a house show. But then they stopped production. They did the Legends of the Fall. That evening, my dad received a Legends of the Fall, both for his work, but also his father's work, the original Ron Bull Johnston out of Hamilton, Ontario. And I, at the end of that night, I took a picture with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And it was in my house for a number of years. I've shared it on all my social medias now. A couple years ago, I was hosting the Legends of Wrestling Q&A at the Hamilton Comic Con. And guess who's a guest on the Legends of Wrestling? One only, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I answered, I fielded all of his Q&A questions, and also Bret Hart was also, and Eric Bischoff was also on the panel. And after the show, he went back to his signing table, and I went over to thank him, and I showed him the picture from 1994. And what I did, because he was charging $45 for a picture, I quickly said to him, "Hey, Jim, you know what we should do? We should recreate that picture." And we took it, and I was out of there before he even asked for the $45, which I think he might have been going, "Hey," as I was walking away. But then I snagged that reenactment.
Also, in the
Well, I'm losing you. RJ, hello? Oh, technical difficulties right at the end. Great. Okay, and now he's off. My God, RJ, what a way to end it. What a way to end a TV show or a live stream. And then he cuts to black, which is actually the perfect RJ City, RJ Skinner ending. I think he's coming back, though. Let's see if we got him back. I thought that was a bit that you were doing. Oh, also, I have one thing to say, and then you just pulled the plug.
You know what? There was a knock on the door. It was Mr. Fork, and I just blacked out.
Come and knock on my door.
No, I just want to point out before we go how big Hacksaw Jim Duggan's hand is compared to yours.
Oh, yes. Where's my share screen? Hold on one sec. Look
It's
at the
giant
size of that. Now, I have big hands. I don't know if I were to have, what's a tall boy look like?
Dear Lord.
Comparatively, I have very large hands.
Terrifying.
But then that man has the hands of a carpenter, which obviously means that he carried around wood with him.
See?
Part of his gimmick.
Yeah.
And he was great. I worked with all those guys, and I know you've had a great career as a professional wrestler. And
Love your father's name in the comments there. Glenn is asking about your father.
Oh, well, I was going to wrap up, but let's keep going. What was your dad's name again, Eric? My dad's name was Bullwhip Danny Johnson. I got this recently. I was actually honored with this award from Hamilton Pro Wrestling, which is on my desk here. I don't know if you can see that.
The nice glare going on. Good.
You know what? You can see yourself. Bullwhip Danny Johnson. He got the in your honor of your contribution to professional wrestling in the city of Hamilton. My dad was, you can Google him, and I also made a documentary recently called Chasing Footsteps, which is available on my YouTube page about my relationship with my professional wrestler father. And yeah, I think we've done enough.
I think so. Well, I'm out of tea.
You're stabbing the tea bag, which is always a good sign. Glenna says, great convo, guys.
Thank you for joining us, Mrs. Robson.
Now, Mrs. Robinson, I haven't seen that movie either.
The Graduate, starring Dustin Hoffman.
What year did it come out? 70s?
Oh, God, 1978?
And what's it called?
No, earlier than that. Might have even been the 60s.
What's it called?
The Graduate. No. Hello? Is he there? Can anyone hear me now? I'm here. Is he here? Where is he? Am I just talking to you? Well, all right. I can't hear him. I can't see him. He's frozen. I'm going to sign off then. On behalf of everyone, I am RJ City. That's Eric Johnston. And we love you all.